Hello students, this is a review for Interim Assessment 2, which is going to be given at the end of this week, the first week in January. I'm going to go over the do now, and then I'm going to do the practice problems. The first question in the do now tells us, or asks us, which graph shows the fuel consumption of a truck that gets 16 miles per gallon. So when we're talking about miles per gallon, that's a rate. And if I want to match one of these graphs to the rate, I just have to find one of the graphs that represents 16 miles every gallon. So for example, if there's 1 gallon, there should be 16 miles. So which one of those graphs shows that? For 1 gallon, it looks like this has about 4 miles. That's not it. For the second one, for 1 gallon, it looks like it has 16 miles. Perfect. Let's check the other ones. For 1 gallon, this represents 21 miles, looks like something like that. So that's not it. We're looking for 16 miles per gallon. And for the last one, for 1 gallon, the person didn't go anywhere. It's 0 miles. So that's a big no-no. So we were given the rate, and we were told, well, which one of those shows up fuel consumption for 16 miles per gallon, and we just matched up 16 miles per gallon. For the second one, as I said in class, people got mixed up with multiplying. Your method should be double distributive, 3r times 3r, 3r times 2, negative 2 times 3r, and negative 2 times 2. If you put those all together, you should get 4 different terms. The first term should be 9r squared, because r times r is going to give you that r squared. We're adding 6r and then subtracting 6r because 3r times 2 is 6r. Negative 2 times 3r is negative 6r. And the last two that we're multiplying together are negative 2 times 2, which should be minus 4. We can see that these two terms are additive inverses. When we add them together, they'll eliminate. So the final answer is just this without the two middle terms. So we're taking these and we're saying, well, they become 0, so we don't need them anymore. Your final answer should be 9r squared minus 4, and we use double distributive property for that. For question 3, it said use elimination to solve the following system of equations. When I look at these two equations, there's no additive inverses. 2x and negative x are not additive inverses. 3y and 2y are not additive inverses. But I can change this second one, this guy right here, to represent the fact that additive inverses. I have positive 2x up here, I just need negative 2x here. So if I multiply this second equation by 2, I'm going to get negative 2x plus 4y, because I'm multiplying everything by 2, should be 4y, equals, I'm multiplying this side by 2 as well, so that should give us 6. The equation above it, I'm going to keep the same. I'm going to keep it as 2x plus 3y equals 8. And now I have these two equations, and I see that they're additive inverses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them down here, and I'm just going to add the two equations together. My next step is 2x plus negative 2x, which is 0, 3y plus 4y, which should give you 7y, and 8 and 6, which should give you 14. Your next step should be to combine like terms. Well, 0 plus 7y, they're not like terms, but I know that I don't need the 0 there. And my final step should be to divide both sides by 7, so I get y equals 2. The question could have asked me for the solution, but it didn't. It asked me just for the value of y, and it says y equals 2, so your answer should be 2. For problem 4, it asks us for the equation of a line, and they give us a graph. You know that the equation of any line is going to be y equals mx plus b. So all we need to do is find the b, which is the y-intercept, and the m, which is the slope. In this case, we see that the y-intercept is here. That's our positive 2. So this number should be positive 2. And we see that our slope is going downwards. It's got to be a negative number. And I'm going down 1 over 2. So our slope has to be negative 1 divided by 2. Right? And if we put all that together, it should give us y equals 1/2. Let's see if I can make this work. Y equals negative 1/2, which is our slope, times x plus b, not b, 2, which is our y-intercept. And we can see that that's one of the choices here. It's choice C. So, not so bad. Boom. Last one. What is the solution of 3 times 2m minus 1, yada, yada, yada? This is an inequality which is solved just the same as an equation. So I'm going to write it out. 3 times 2m minus 1 is less than or equal to. I wonder if I can write that symbol using my computer. Booyah. Less than or equal to 4m plus 7. My next step is to use the distributive property. 3 times 2m is 6m. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Not equals. It's got to be this less than or equal to thing. Is less than or equal to 4m plus 7. I'm going to try to move all the variables to one side and all the numbers to the other side. So I'm going to move the variables to the left. Subtracting 4m from both sides, I'm left with 2m on the left-hand side, minus 3, and less than or equal to 7. Now I'm going to try to move all the numbers to the other side. Hold on. There we go. We're going to add 3 to both sides, so we get 2m is less than or equal to 7 plus 3, which is 10. And last but not least, we're going to divide both sides by 2. We get m is less than or equal to 5. Looking at the answer choices, I can see that that's this one. M is less than or equal to 5. Let's start with polynomial operations for the review. Let's look at the first practice question. It tells us the middle term of the trinomial form of this. Well, this is a multiplication problem. We know we're going to be using our double distributive property. So I'm going to write out the two binomials. We got 3x plus 5 times 4x minus 3. And I know we have to multiply these two together. We're going to use double distributive property. So 3x times 4x, that's going to give us 12x squared, right? Because x times x is going to give us that x squared. 3x times negative 3 should give us negative 9x. 5 times 4x should give us 20x. And that's a positive 20x. And last but not least, 5 times negative 3 should give us negative 15. It tells us it's looking for the middle term. So this is the first term, 12x squared. This is the last term, negative 15. The middle term should be when you combine these two together. Negative 9x plus 20x, that should give you positive 11x. Those two added together, right? This middle term is the one we're looking for. Let's finish the whole problem. I know that 12x squared isn't going to combine with anything, so I'm just going to bring that down here. And I know that negative 15 isn't going to combine with anything, so I'm going to bring that down similarly here. And we can see that that's our middle term, so we can safely say that the middle term is C, 11x. For the next one, it asks us to multiply. I'm going to skip past that one because I feel like it's very similar to the previous problem. Let's talk about this one, which is a monomial times a binomial. All we're going to do is do the distributive property. All right, this is going to take a little heavy lifting. Here we go. 5 times 3, that gives us 15. X to the 4th times x squared is going to give us x to the 6th. So that's x to the 6th power. Remember, we add exponents when we're multiplying. And then y to the 3rd times, well, there's no y's there. We're just going to call that y to the 3rd power. For the next multiplication, we have 5x to the 4th, y to the 3rd, times negative 4xy. So 5 times negative 4, that's negative 20. X to the 4th times x should give us x to the power of 5. And then we know that y to the 3rd times y should give us y. Well, there's 3y's times 1y. That should give us 4y's. So that's y to the 4th. And let's see if the answer is there. 15x to the 6th, y to the 3rd. How about this one? Does this work? Yeah, definitely. For this next one, it talks about subtracted from. When we use subtracted from, that's something that we talked about in class a couple times. When I say subtract this from this, I have to switch the order. So the way I'm going to write this out is first 3a plus 2b minus c. We're going to take that whole thing and we're going to subtract from it the other polynomial, which is, I'm going to get over here, a minus 2b. Since we're subtracting a minus 2b from the other polynomial, what we can do is distribute that negative sign. Negative goes onto a, becomes negative a. Negative goes onto negative 2b, becomes positive 2b. So if I rewrite it, it should be 3a plus 2b minus c minus a, because that a became a negative, plus 2b, because that negative 2b became a positive. And now we just combine like terms. I'll do it on the same line here. 3a minus a should give us 2a. 2b plus 2b is 4b. And then c doesn't have a partner, 4c. So 2a plus 4b minus c. And it looks like I can already see my answer. 2a plus 4b minus c. Nailed it. Moving on to question 5. It's another subtracting from. So we have to keep in mind that we're going to switch the order. The b squared minus 6a squared minus 9ab is going to go first. And this polynomial is going to go second. I'm not going to go over that because we just talked about that. But by the magic of computers, I will show you the correct answer. Obviously, you see we set up the problem. We put it in the correct order. And then we distributed this negative sign. Negative, positive, negative. Because this was positive, negative, positive. And then we combine like terms. Even though it's in a different order, still finding that correct answer. Last on this page, I want to talk about the number 8. It says express the sum of 3x squared minus 2x plus 5 and x squared plus 2x minus 8 in simplest form. This word, sum, is talking about addition. If it had said product, we would be multiplying. But since it says sum, we're going to add them. We're going to combine like terms. So the first terms are 3x to the second power minus 2x plus 5. We're going to add that to the next polynomial, which is x squared plus 2x minus 8. When we're adding two polynomials, we don't need the parentheses. We can just combine like terms just like they are. So 3x squared plus x squared is going to give us 4x squared. So it should be a 4x squared. Negative 2x and positive 2x, those two eliminate. They turn to 0. And positive 5 and negative 8 become negative 3. So our answer should be 4x squared minus 3. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next page, which is systems of equations, and I'm going to show you this first one. A lot of people ask me this question in class, so I'll try to go over it with you right now. It tells us to solve by elimination. Elimination means we're trying to get two of the variables to have opposite coefficients. So if this said 4x and this said negative 4x, we'd be good to go. We just add them together and they'd eliminate each other. But none of these coefficients are the same. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make them the same by multiplying. Both of these equations need to be multiplied by something. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom by each other's coefficients. And what I mean by that is I'm going to take this 4x plus 3y equals 10. I'm going to multiply it by 5. And the bottom one, I'm going to multiply by 4. Or rather, negative 4. If I do that, 5 times 4x is going to give us 20x. Negative 4 times 5x is going to give us negative 20x. Therefore, giving us something that could eliminate. Okay, I reformatted a little bit. I can tell you that 5 times this whole equation gives us 20x plus 15y equals 50. And then negative 4 times this whole equation gives us negative 20x minus 16y equals negative 52. We're going to add, we're going to combine these as like terms. These two eliminate 20x and negative 20x because we planned it that way. 15y and negative 16y give us a negative y. And 50 minus 52 gives us a negative 2. Well, if negative y equals negative 2, then positive y equals positive 2. So out of all of our choices, there's only one that has a y value of 2, and that's choice B. I didn't even have to find the x value because the y value is right there. Okay, I've run out of time for this video. I'm going to try again with part 2, and I'm going to post that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that.